Okay, good evening. I'd like to call North Aurora Village Board meeting for Monday, June 7th, 2021 to order. Please join me in silent prayer and meditation. Okay, thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jesse, please call the roll.
Mayor Gaffino.
Here.
Trustee Curtis. Here. Trustee Carroll.
Here.
Trustee Gately.
Here.
Trustee Lowry.
Here.
Trustee Nedved.
Here.
Trustee Salazar. Here.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing for Forest Ridge Townhome Development Annexation Agreement. Is there anybody to speak on that behalf?
Yeah, this is the developers are present. If anyone has any questions for tonight, they're just opening up for public comment.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any audience comments? Okay, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Gately.
Yes.
Trustee Lowry.
Yes.
Trustee Nedved.
Yes.
Trustee Salazar.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Okay, thank you. Under new business, item 1, approval of engineering agreement with WBK Engineering for the Tanner Trails Convenience Study in the amount of $89,430. John?
Thank you, Mayor. If you recall, way back in March of 2019, we located a sinkhole out in Tanner Trails. It was a really big sinkhole that we spent a lot of time pumping down so we could repair the plastic pipe at the base of it. At that point, we were able to repair the pipe with help of a contractor. However, when we went back through after we repaired it, we televised that same pipe and we found that the plastic pipe, the existing one, was compressed. And at several locations, it had been struck by agricultural equipment and there was dirt getting into that pipe. Essentially, it was going to be creating a flooding problem for not only the agricultural fields, but the Tanner Trail 6 subdivision because it was preventing the water from draining out of that storm sewer system to the Lake Run Creek. So after we realized that that was going to be a problem, we hired WBK to perform an engineering study to provide us with some options on what we can do to repair the pipe. At a committee of the whole meeting not too long ago, then they presented 4 options to us. And those 4 options were to replace part of that 24-inch plastic pipe with the 36-inch diameter concrete pipe. We felt the consulting engineering firm explained that that probably wasn't the best solution because there's still risk of that remaining plastic section of failing, and we'd be back in this situation repairing that sometime down the line. The second solution was to repair the entire 24-inch diameter pipe with a 36 diameter inch concrete pipe. That was the solution that was recommended by the consulting engineer, by staff, and that was the preferred option that the village board was looking at that time. They also had the third solution, which was to run a smaller pipe in parallel with the existing pipe at a lower cost. However, the concern there was if that existing pipe again did fail at any point, we would still be lacking capacity to carry the water we needed. And the final solution that they had offered was one where we would turn part of the Kane County Forest Preserve field into a wetland, create a ditch, and then a pipe to run to Lake Run Creek. And there were a couple factors that were preventing that from being the best solution. The cost for one, but also the grade and the slope that was needed to get the water from Tanner Trails to Lake Run Creek was very flat. So when WBK basically this discussion then is to confirm that we do want to go ahead with the preferred option that we selected at the committee of the whole meeting, the option 2, which was to replace the 24-inch diameter plastic pipe with a 36-inch diameter concrete pipe, and then to approve the agreement with WBK to begin the design of this project. So for WBK to design this project, it would cost them $89,430. Right now we have $76,000 budgeted, and that was because we were estimating the cost at the time of the budget. So we weren't entirely sure of the scope of work. What we learned later on when we did a little bit more research is there was a significant amount of permits involved with this project. So not only would we be getting a permit from Kane County Stormwater, but we'd also have to get one from the United States Army Corps, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, and the United States Fish and Wildlife Survey, because this pipe would be entering into a creek. So at that time, we weren't sure that level of effort was needed to secure the permits. And it was also because basically, we have to get easements because we don't own the property which this pipe is going across. We have to do the research, understand who owns the property, and then develop those plats of easement to get the property owners to sign off on them. In addition, there will be $25,000 up to more in cost for soil borings. This isn't included with this agreement, but I'm just making you aware of that going forward. And the purpose of those is so that we understand exactly what the soil is along that area where the pipe is going in, because we believe what had happened with the initial pipe failure is part of the ground was made out of organic material or peat. And that didn't provide the existing pipe with enough support, which caused it to squish, and then water and soil started getting infiltrating into the pipe. So we're going to do that test study with the soil borings to get a better understanding of exactly what's going on with the soils. So in summary, this item is the approval of an engineering agreement with WBK for the Tanner Trails conveyance study in the amount of $89,430.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
yes,
trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Very good, thanks. Item 2, approval of award bid for Illinois Route 31 sidewalk installation project to Geneva Construction Company for an amount of $52,451.80. John?
Thank you, Mayor. Several years back, the village received a grant for the installation of sidewalks around Illinois Route 31. The project stalled for a few years, but we got back on it and we were able to design, our village engineer was able to design the project in-house and get permitting for this project to advance it and begin to move it forward. The sidewalk is going to connect basically A&W on the east side of Route 31 and then south to 131 or 141 Route 31, which is about Ruth Stesselman's law offices. So the segment of sidewalk that we're completing is only 530 feet under this grant, but it is a big beginning of a bigger project that staff is hoping to accomplish in the future, which is connecting providing pedestrians a sidewalk from Sullivan Road all the way north to our common or our corporate limits, at least on one side of the Route 31. And the reason for that is we noticed that at Ashbury and Eden's Gardens, there's a lot of pedestrians that are generated from those facilities, and they're making use of the public library and also Village Hall and other amenities along the corridor. So the long-term goal is to get that complete segment in. This would be the beginning of that. The prices we received from Geneva Construction are in line with what we expected. And with that grant, the project is really only going to cost the village out of the capital fund $11,331. So this item then is the approval of bid to Geneva Construction Company in the amount of $52,451.80.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion?
I have a question. Can we ever use TIF funds for the sidewalk project and like for the future proposal?
We sure can. I may have misspoke if I said that 11,000 was coming from capital, because in this case, it is actually coming from the TIF funding. So I apologize.
I would like to comment, please. Bill Slaker. Hello?
Okay, yeah, go ahead, wherever you're at.
Okay. Yeah, it's, we're looking forward to the sidewalk being done. It's been over 20 years. Well, not necessarily over 20, but close to 20 years in the happening. And apparently, some of the way it was going to be handled, those records don't exist. And per a conversation with Steve Bosco, I'll be meeting with Brandon tomorrow to see if we can get things ironed out. I just wanted to get on the record. It seems that that's an important thing to do based on the lack of records that exist otherwise. Thank you.
You're having a hard time.
Can you speak up?
I
or-
can't understand what you're saying.
Can I speak up?
Yes, speak louder. We can't hear you.
Well, this is pretty loud on this end. Sorry.
Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Can you kind of repeat maybe the last couple? We couldn't understand. It was trailing off at the end.
Yes, I understand. And I just love technology. I'll be meeting with Brandon tomorrow to iron out some issues with the sidewalk installation. Was that get through it all?
Yes.
Yeah, if I can, Bill, you can hear me, I'm sure. So for
Yes.
the board, is the Slaker residence is on that strip where the sidewalk is going in, and currently they park their cars right where the sidewalk is going to go through. So what we're trying to do, because they have a unique property to Route 31, is we're going to have our village engineer go out there today, or I keep saying today, tomorrow or the day after, and just kind of take a look at it and see if there's any way to have the sidewalk done in a way where they can still park their cars. They don't have a traditional driveway currently. They literally have just a gravel pad off the side of the road, and then it goes down a hill where the driveway used to be, but it's all grassed over now. So they park along the curb line, and the sidewalk is essentially going right through where they park at least one of their two vehicles.
That's part of it, but I don't necessarily agree with the phrasing of it. But under the circumstances, we'll leave it go and come back on it.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve?
You already did it. Okay, call the question.
Yes.
Please.
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, no more discussion. We're good? Okay, please call the
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar. Yes. Trustee Curtis. Yes. Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item 4, approval of the waive bids to perform well 5 rehabilitation, maintenance, and well site improvements and award contract to Lane Christensen Company in the estimated amount of $240,000 and not to exceed $300,000. John.
Mayor, I can go ahead with that one, but I think we skipped the previous one.
Number, item 3.
My bad. Okay. We'll go back to 3. All right. Approval to purchase a new Ford Explorer for the Public Works Department in the amount of $29,304. John.
Thank you, Mayor. We're requesting the purchase of a 2021 Ford Explorer for the village engineer, the newly hired position. It's a vehicle that'll get him to construction sites and transport the survey equipment. Basically, the way we're operating right now is Brandon is driving the water superintendent's old pickup truck that has some transmission issues, and we keep the survey equipment done in an old squad car, which I drive around. And the problem with that is the squad car can't necessarily go off-road with the survey equipment. So we're transporting the survey equipment into the truck to get in the truck to drive out to, for example, the sinkhole site or something like that. So the purpose of the truck would be to house that surveying equipment and then transport Brandon around to construction sites. When we were looking at vehicles, to replace this one, we did take a look at used vehicles as a potential option. What we found is in this market, the price of used vehicles is actually increased greater than it is on the state bid purchase or on the collective municipal collaborative option that we discovered as well. So, and that was for a vehicle that was a couple years old with 25,000 miles on it. It was going for more than what we would new at this point. So what we did do is we took a look at 3 different options for purchasing. We looked at the state bid process. We looked at a municipal collaborative, and then we also solicited prices from a local vendor to see if they could match either of those prices. When we looked at the state bid price, we got a bid price back at $32,441. And typically we've been purchasing our prices or our vehicles off of the state bid collaborative. However, what we found is through a new collaborative, this municipal collaborative, the price was actually lower when we went through them, and we got a price of $29,304. And that's a collaborative that many municipalities, not only throughout the state, but throughout the country participate in. And even though we're not a member, we were able to get the pricing for the vehicle at that same price. So once we got that price, what we did is we took that price over to one of the local vendors and asked if they could match it. And they didn't give us a written quote, but they verbally told us that it was a good price and that they weren't going to be able to match it or beat it at that point. So this vehicle we're requesting is going to be at that cost of $29,304. There is going to be an aftermarket request of safety lights put on to outfit the vehicle when it's working in traffic, and we're estimating that to be $4,000 to $6,000. When we go ahead and get the safety lights installed, it would be in the same pattern that we have on the admin vehicle, and typically we've been going through the vendor who supplies the police department with their lighting as well. So this request then is the approval to purchase a new Ford Explorer for the Public Works Department in the amount of $29,304.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question. I've heard from people in the automobile industry that this is the absolute worst time to be buying a brand new car, due to low inventory and the prices are really high. Is this an urgent need that needs to be addressed right now, or can it wait until, for 6 months when inventories are more reliable and stable?
I think we could probably hold off on it. There is a risk too that the market gets worse, I guess, is the other thing too. But yeah, that's possible that we could hold off. I don't know necessarily the delivery time. Sometimes it's 4 to 6 months just on delivery on some of these vehicles. So it would probably be more around 10 to 12 months, then we'd be pushing it off.
See, I think the price is probably the cheapest you're gonna get. I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna go down lower. I mean, I look at trucks every day and it's like, there's nothing for $30,000. I mean, just saying, brand new truck. I think it's a pretty
Plus,
fair
like
price.
you said, you may not, if you wait 6 more months, you may not get nothing for a year. I mean, look at the big 6-wheeler and they're out a year or two, so I heard the inventory is low and it was hard to get them, so.
Everything is delayed right now, whether it's windows, everything is delayed in terms of time of delivery appliances. So you do take that risk that maybe you get a somewhat of a better price, but you're going to be having to wait a much longer time to get the vehicle delivered.
I'm thinking the pricing too, based on the fact that we've gone through a municipal cooperative, you go through a state bid. I mean, the companies that end up winning the awards from the state are literally selling probably hundreds of these cars throughout. So that price is extremely low. But on top of that, when the chief ordered police vehicles, not this go around, it was the one before that, I think it took over 12 months to get our Explorers. So, I mean, it depended on how fast the inventory comes, we might be waiting a longer time as it is already.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable. Okay, clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis. Yes. Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Okay, now item 4.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is a little more complicated because there's two projects kind of at this well 5 site. And I'm going to go through them individually. I'm going to start first with the pump and motor rehabilitation project. And the request of this item is essentially we're asking to waive bids on the pump and motor rehabilitation and a portion of the site improvement. So to start, the pump and motor rehabilitation project is something that we've just performed on well 6. And what we did was we pulled the pump and motor, we pulled out the column pipe that feeds into the feeds from the pump to the motor to get the water into our distribution system. We looked at that electrical cable that powers the pump and the motor. And if you recall this item in well 6, we had to come back to the board and ask for more money because the electrical cable was spliced in 3 different places. So that's just kind of jog your memory of that pump, the pump and well rehabilitation at well 6. And the reason we waived bids at that time was because these motors have mercury within the seals of the gaskets. And there's only one vendor in Illinois that has the expertise in order to work on them, and it's Lane. And for that reason, we waived bids for that. Now, I'm asking for the exact same thing, just on a different well, because this well also contains those mercury seals. It has the same column pipe, the same motor, the same pump, and the same electrical cable. So that's kind of the first part of this project. The second part is site improvements. And this is different from well 6. This is unique to well 5. What this includes is work to the well itself, where we're going to be demolishing the well house building. We're going to be restoring the site. We're going to be taking the discharge pipe and moving it from above ground to underground. We're going to be adding some more valves to isolate this well from a different well. And we're also adding a pitless adapter. And that's the component that I'm asking to waive bids on. And what the pitless adapter is basically a device that gets welded underground so that the pipe can now come out of the pitless adapter underground and continue on its way. Right now, that pipe goes above ground and back down underground. And the risk at that point is when it enters the well house, if that well house foundation shifts at all, it can create stress on that above ground pipe and crack. And it also gets exposed to the elements. But not only that, there's a valve in it that's been failing from time to time, and water's been leaking back into the well from the treatment side of things. So when we look at, the reason we're asking to waive the bids on the pitless adapter is because this is a piece of equipment that takes 12 to 14 weeks to order. So if we were to start the site improvements project, so the sequence of the project would go the pump and motor rehabilitation, then the site improvements. The reason we want to do this component of the site improvements is because it takes 12 to 14 weeks to order it. And to remain on schedule, if we were to order that with the site improvements project, that already pushes us out that much further. The company that installs the pitless adapter just so happens to be Lane, and it'd be more cost effective if they were to do it with this project, because otherwise there would be 2 mobilizations. They'd have to come now to do the pump and motor rehabilitation, but then they'd have to come back a second time to install this pitless adapter, and then they'd be delaying that project another 12 to 14 weeks. So the reason the reason Public Works is requesting the waiver of bids in this instance is because we believe it'd be more cost effective, and because it would get the project back, it would keep the project on its intended schedule. So the cost of all of that is estimated to be $240,000. In the budget, we currently have $300,000, and it would be coming from the water fund. So the request at this time is to approve the waiver of bids to perform the pump well rehabilitation and maintenance well and the part of the well site improvements, and award the contract to Lane Christensen Company in the estimated amount of $240,000, but not to exceed the budgeted amount of $300,000.
Motion approved.
Second. Discussion?
So yeah, Lane, they've done most of our work.
They've done.
They're familiar with our whole system.
That's correct. They've had a lot of experience. There's only been one other company who's done any other work on our well besides them.
Plus they're local.
Plus they're out of Aurora.
Yeah, very good. I think it's great.
I think they installed the pitless adapters at our 2 newest wells too.
They did it. Well, yes, definitely. At 8 and 9 they did. And they drilled the well at 9. Or at 8, sorry.
Okay, clerk call roll, please.
Trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar.
Yes.
All right, item 5, approval of ordinance authorizing the execution of an annexation agreement for the development known as Forest Ridge Town-Owned Development. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. The next 4 items on the agenda tonight are associated with the Forest Ridge Town Home Development. This is the 9 acres of land on Oak Street, just west of the Windstone Place subdivision. We've been discussing this, I think, since April 2019, with the public hearing back in 2020, subsequent board meetings to discuss the development plans, also the annexation agreement. The annexation agreement was brought in its draft form on May 17th for conversation. It was well received. So the public hearing tonight was actually associated with item number 5, which is the annexation agreement for the development known as Forest Ridge Townhomes.
Motion approved.
Second. Discussion? Clerk call roll, please.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Item 6, approval of ordinance annexing certain territories of the village of North Aurora, Illinois to be known as Forest Ridge Townhome Development. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the ordinance annexing the 9 acres.
Motion approved. Second.
Discussion? Clerk call roll, please.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
Okay, thanks. Item 7, approval of ordinance zoning 9.05 acres of property situated at 38 West 229 Oak Street, North Illinois, to the R3 General Residence Zoning District. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the ordinance establishing the R3 General Residence District on the property.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call roll, please.
Trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Item 8, approval of ordinance granting a special use for an R3 General Residence Zoning District Planned Unit Development on the property located at 38 West 229 Oak Street, North Illinois, to be known as the Forest Ridge Townhome Development. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is going to establish the PUD on the property. Again, there's 5 townhome buildings, 1 duplex for a total of 31 residential units.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Item 9, approval of a special event permit for My Place Hotel. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 9 is for a special event at My Place. They have a new setup in their bar area that is run by Tap Bill, and they are officially would like to have a grand opening to invite people to come take a look and see what it's about. That is 6 to 11 p.m. on Saturday, July 17th. The reason they need a special event permit is because they would transfer a cart of alcohol outside next to their hotel area by their parking lot, and they would actually have sound an hour past our requirement, which is anything past 10 p.m. on a Saturday, they have to get permission from the board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item 10, approval of a special event permit for wedding reception on the village-owned property. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. I think you'll see that with COVID, we've definitely had people inquiring more and more about having weddings and backyard parties and whatnot at their residences. And in this case, 301 Long is kind of a special property because off of Long Avenue, we actually have 2 pieces of, I guess you can consider them right away, not easements. If you look at the map of our property on our right away, which is the street and up to about the sidewalk area, there's actually 2 sections of road that go north-south as if they were going to connect one day to the adjacent subdivision. But apparently when the subdivision off of Ridge Road was built, They never stubbed, those roads never completed, they just stopped. So those two little pieces of right of way now off of Long are in between houses and they're just grassed areas. They don't have pavement, they're grass. The residents have been maintaining them. This resident is hosting a wedding on September 10th from 2 to 8 p.m. They would like to, because that part of that yard, if you will, that's next to their yard is actually village right of way. They technically need a permit from us because it's our property. So that's what this is about. They would like, in case their guests have spill over into that property for the wedding.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Steve, is there any like liability issue with that?
They submitted a certificate of insurance. They have to anytime liquor is involved. So they've actually provided that to the village.
Okay, thank you. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis. Yes. Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, item 11, approval of a special event permit for the North Aurora River District Alliance, summer concerts / movies in the park. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. As in the past, NORDA is looking to have events down in the park, whether they be concerts or movie in the parks. And right now, because it's using, once again, village's property, they go through a permit request to the village board. They're looking to host events on June 24th, July 22nd, and August 12th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I just want to say that I'm happy to see this back. I've had several residents that live near me that were asking about the music in the park. So I'm just glad to see it back.
Okay, clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis. Yes. Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 12, approval of resolution designating the North Aurora River District Alliance or Rhythm of the Riverfront summer concert movie series, a village sponsored event, and allowing the consumption of liquor in the North Aurora Riverfront Park. Steve?
Thank you. Item number 12, I'm not going to repeat it. It's 3 sentences. Is basically every time that NORDA has an event down there at the riverfront in the summertime, they would like to have BYOB, which is what we do for, let's say, the July 3rd fireworks. Our code requires that we sponsor it as a village sponsored event in order for an organization to have liquor in the park. We partner with NORDA on projects. Every year we bring this resolution forward before they can have residents bring liquor to the park.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Curtis. Yes. Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Village President report. I just have one comment. I wanted to compliment the police department on their actions at Woodman's that night. Happened to be driving by and actually pulling in about maybe 10 minutes afterwards, and fast action and just, you know, the effort along with the Aurora Police, but you know, our team did a good job and fast culmination to the whole thing. So police passed that along and it was really great. So it's sad that it happened, but your team did a great job. So,
Keep up the good work.
trustee comments. Administrator's report.
So I want to give an update on the HVAC system for the 3rd straight meeting. So it was working for the 3rd straight time at about 6 o'clock it shut off. And Brian Richter, our public works superintendent, and John have been working to figure out how to get it back on. And it did come back on at one point, and I feel like there's air still coming out. But we did contact our HVAC person and they checked our system, and without going into this elaborate discussion, we basically have 2 separate systems for 2 halves of the building. And this system that we're in right now, apparently physically is fine, but we have a computer system that controls it. And we don't know why the computers are shutting it off and not restarting it. So we've already contacted the computer company that controls the boiler system. And we're trying to arrange a meeting between them and the HVAC people to figure out why it randomly shuts off and why it literally takes John or myself over the phone. John had to teach me how to do this, but you have to throw a switch outside and then do a bunch of stuff on the computer. So we're trying to figure out why that's not working. Other than that, on a different note, and it seems to only happen on Monday night. So On another note, garbage, the transition is at its peak right now. And ironically, the transition to Groot has not been awful at all, which we were gearing up for a ton of phone calls about missed pickups and people not getting their toters. And we have had some, but the overwhelming majority of people that have called Village Hall in the last couple of weeks or been on our Facebook page appear to be upset that Waste Management never picked up their toters. And so we've been working with them nonstop to try to get it resolved. They use a third-party company to pick the toters up on the last pickup day. That company not only missed an entire neighborhood, but we actually found that they missed more than one neighborhood. They thought they only missed one, and then we're like, no, there's streets on this side that were missed as well. Plus, there were a lot of people who put garbage out. So when the company came by, they couldn't take their toter because they hadn't been dumped properly yet. So they sent another crew back out with a trailer on Friday. They got most of those two neighborhoods that we knew were missed. They got those neighborhoods. There's still a couple one-offs. We see them around town. I've seen 5 or 6 in my neighborhood. So we are still working to complete a list and then continuously I'll work with Waste Management to get out there and get them. That's it.
All right, thank you.
I have a question. Steve, is the village putting out any information about the state moving to phase 5 for the residents other than what's listed on our website?
No, as of right now, we just have our COVID update page and we would just update that with the phase 5 or the phase 5 implementation.
And I guess my second question would be with regard to the eviction moratorium, that do we have access to any sort of county or state grants that might benefit residents that might be affected once the moratorium? Can we publicize anything on the website or links to grant? I know there's grants available.
We posted something recently about a rental assistance program that the county was administering with COVID funds. I have not heard, and Mike, jump in if you've heard anything, but I have not heard anything about a foreclosure, money for houses going through foreclosure.
This would be the rental assistance.
It's
That's
through the
what I
same
was-
program?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, it's not the foreclosure, it's the eviction moratorium. So it would be covered under the rental assistance.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'll verify, I'll go back. I think we posted about 2 weeks ago, but I'd be more than happy to have it reposted.
I think it would be helpful in case there's any residents that are affected.
Sure.
There's also landlord assistance now, the state passed recently.
Okay.
So if you're a landlord and you're in arrears or you're not getting your rent, it's owed to you, that there's also assistance program for that as well.
Okay, thank you. Those department reports.
I got something to say. Make it quick. The United TIF District is moving forward nicely. We had a positive recommendation from the Joint Review Board on May 21st. Last week on June 3rd, we had an informational meeting where everyone in the TIF was invited, and I think it was all residents within 750 feet of the actual TIF district itself. It was lightly attended, but went well. We answered a few questions, and we do have the public hearing at the next board meeting on the 21st.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, if I could real quick, I'd just like to publicly thank the Aurora Police Department and the Kane County Sheriff's Office for their assistance out at the Woodman's incident. It was very helpful to have them with.
Thank you. Okay, seeing none, more comments, motion adjourn.
Moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Same opposed. Okay, we'll be meeting shortly here with the cow meeting.